I shall not be moved. Hoarder, 87, wins temporary reprieve from being evicted from her home of 61 years after barricading herself inside her house. May Appleton's house in Lostock Gralam, Cheshire, is full of hundreds of dolls, teddy bears and plastic bags. But she lost 3-year eviction battle last month because her memorabilia had been deemed a fire hazard. Bailiffs today could not get in through front door due to her possessions, with only other option being back. But this was barracked with a large plank of wood and bailiffs said they could not enter via this route anyway. An 87-year-old woman facing eviction from her home of 60 years today earned a temporary stay of execution after barricading herself inside. May Appleton's house in the Cheshire village of Lostock Gralam is full of hundreds of dolls and teddy bears and neatly packed plastic bags. But she lost a 3-year eviction battle last month because her lifelong collection of memorabilia had been deemed a fire hazard. However, bailiffs today could not get in through the front door due to all her possessions behind it, with the only other option being the back door. But this was barracked with a large plank of wood, and in any event the bailiffs at the scene allegedly said they were not allowed to enter via this route. A delighted Mrs. Appleton told Mail Online today, "I didn't think I would be sitting here now at this time. I'm going to be in my own home for Mother's Day." Last month it was revealed how Mrs. Appleton had been left heartbroken after being branded a hoarder by housing association bosses. She was facing her collection of dolls, autographs, toys, photos and memorabilia being put into storage. And bailiffs were today due to take possession of the house she shares with her 3 sons Brian, 61, Mark, 51, and Paul, 49, but left without do so. And Brian Appleton told Mail Online this afternoon, "She's absolutely pleased as punch. It's absolutely fantastic and we can only thank the Mail. You've been absolutely fantastic from day one when we told you about it. We are completely relieved. We can settle and have a nice weekend now. I have been worried about my mum. None of us slept a wink last night, we've had nothing to eat, and the relief is now finally coming up. My mum is over the moon, she literally broke her heart. She couldn't talk for breaking her heart. My mum can't believe it." Mr. Appleton added that the police have advised the family to start shifting a few things, and to show that they are willing to do this. Therefore he intends to get back in touch with the courts this afternoon to say they would like another hearing to put our side to them. Mr. Appleton added that they want to say we are willing to move some of the stuff and hopefully we can keep the house. 6 people turned up at the house at about 10 a.m. today, including a maintenance man, 2 bailiffs and 3 women from Weaver Vale Housing Trust. And a witness who watched the events unfold at the scene told Mail Online, "Brian and May had barricaded themselves in the house. Because of the amount she's got in there you can't get in through the front door anyway and you can only go in the house via the back door. They'd used a large plank of wood to prevent the back door being opened. The bailiffs kept their hoods up all the time. They were constantly banging on the door from 10 a.m. onwards saying, 'It's the bailiffs, can you open the door please, can we talk about this?' The bailiffs allegedly told the housing trust staff they needed to gain entry through the front door because they were not allowed to enter round the back." The witness continued, "Their housing trust workers were making lots of phone calls between themselves. Then, just as the maintenance provider was about to get his power tool and force open the door, they just walked away. The worker said they'd decided to retreat for the day. It's heavy snow today up here. They've gone back to their offices." He added, "On the front door, even if you got the front door off, you wouldn't be able to get past all the stuff. So I gather the reason why they left, I'm only assuming this, was the bailiff was saying, 'I can't gain entry by the back door.'" Mrs. Appleton's many items include valuable dolls, Star Wars and Action Man toys and autographs from Hollywood stars of the 1930s. She also has a card sent to her parents by the Queen Mother to thank them for looking after evacuees during the Second World War. Last November she said, "What I've got in there is 61 years of memories. I've been happy here for 58 years, It's the last 3 that have been terrible. I've had more than 5 letters a week for 3 years. I've been to court twice in Chester and I've no one to turn to. She has been told that her collections are classed as hoarding and are a fire hazard. Her son Brian said, "We're not disputing that we've got a lot of stuff in the house, but it's our possessions. It's an archive, and it's all clean and tidy. It's not junk, everything's got a story." The family say they have never fallen behind on their rent and have been described as pillars of the community. But Judith Burbage, Director of Neighborhoods at Weavervale Housing Trust, told Mail Online today, "We have tried every option open to us over the course of 3 years, including the offer to install a sprinkler system in the home and offering to clear and store the items. But Mrs. Appleton and her sons continue to refuse all offers of help to reduce the fire risk to both themselves and visitors entering the home, including firefighters. We have worked closely with the fire and rescue service throughout this difficult situation. An eviction is always our last resort, but in this case we have to put the safety of the family, neighbors and anyone else entering the home first. We have had almost daily contact with the family, to try to find a solution." And Mark Cashin, Deputy Chief Officer at Cheshire Fire and Rescue, added, "Hoarding certainly is a growing issue for fire and rescue services. It presents significant risks for individuals, communities and firefighters. This is not about us telling people how they should live their lives. It is about keeping people and firefighters safe, something that we have a responsibility to do." Fires in the homes of hoarders have resulted in several deaths and have in some incidences put the lives of fire crews in extreme danger. The issue is that people who store large amounts of goods in their home increase the risk of a fire breaking out. Also, as there is lots to burn, the fire is also likely to be more severe. Add to this the fact that piles of goods often block potential escape routes. You are left with a deadly combination. Ms. Burbage continued, "Following discussions with ourselves, the bailiff took a decision, on the grounds of safety, not to carry out the eviction this morning. We are unable to comment any further on their actions." And Cheshire West and Chester Councillor Angela Glade, Cabinet Member for Housing, said, "The council is aware of the circumstances and is working with the family and partners to provide advice and support, including assistance regarding alternative accommodation, should this be required."